I'm going to ask you a tough question, okay? Because you were, I think your first job for this president was OMB director.
Yes.
Okay. We have $1 trillion deficit.
Deficit question.
I couldn't let you off the hook on this one. Because look, when people, I talk all the time about these incredible things Donald Trump has done for the economy, and they're unbelievable. I mean, really, isn't this an incredible economy that the president has given us? But we have these deficits, and even a lot of conservatives come up to me and say, does this president care about the deficit? Does he care about the debt? And what is your response to that?
First of all, you have to let's talk about how the government spends money. Okay, we say budget, but we don't budget the way that you do. So the way
that's a problem.
We don't budget the way anybody budgets. That's for sure. If you want to know how a president feels about deficits, spending priorities, things that are a lower priority, look at his budget. That's what it is. It's a messaging document, all right? And it's what essentially is, if the President of the United States was in charge of all three branches of government, this is what spending and priorities would look like, right? That's what we do. It's a messaging document. This is our priorities. These are lower priorities. This is how we feel about the deficit. This is how we feel about the annual debts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the budgets that this president has put forward are extraordinarily fiscally responsible. I wrote two of them. Russ Vought has written one of them, and we split another one. And they're the ones that you would expect to see from a good conservative government. They balance within a reasonable number of years. They don't balance right away. It's very difficult to get the government to change directions in a short order of time. But they do balance. They also reduce entitlement spending without changing Social Security and Medicare. By the way, the four budgets that we've offered have been the largest reductions in mandatory spending in history, yet we didn't touch Social Security and Medicare. How is that possible? It's possible because so much of the government is on automatic pilot and mandatory spending. Did you know that your Medicare taxes go to pay graduate medical school tuitions? You didn't know that. You thought your Medicare went to provide for your Medicare, okay? What happened was over the course of the last, 50 years, Medicare, Social Security turned these huge trust funds that politicians went, well, you know what? We've got so much money in there, we don't need that money right now, so let's go take that money and dedicate it to other things. And so over the course of years, your Medicare money is being spent for a bunch of things that have nothing to do with actually providing older people with care. And we fix that. And we do that throughout the entire budget, and that's how we come to something that makes sense when it comes to spend. Now, why do I say it doesn't make any difference? Because Congress takes it and immediately throws it in the trash can. I know that because I took Obama's budgets and immediately threw them in the trash can. And you hear, there's a timer in the OMB office where when we deliver the budget, it's when's the first time you hear them dead on arrival. Right. That's the one thing that it takes about 12 to 14 minutes for that to happen.
But the president does have, I want to challenge you on this a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
The president does have one of the most powerful tools the president has is the power of the veto pen.
Yes.
And I personally, how many of you would like to see the president vetoing these big spending bills, right? So why won't he do that?
All right. Because Congress is broken, and I'm going to try to do this real quickly. Yeah. It used to be that the spending of the federal government was broken up into 12 different pieces. They passed 12 different spending bills every single year, and they'd fund the Defense Department here, Health and Human Services here, FBI, Department of Interior, everything. There'd be 12 of those. Right. And it used to be that presidents could go back and say, well, you know what, I'm okay with that, I'm okay with that. I'm going to veto that because they spent too much money on Health and Human Services, okay? And then the government would continue, all the rest of the government would continue, and then this would technically shut down. I think there were 17 government shutdowns between 1976 and 1994, including 5 government shutdowns during the 4 years of Carter's administration, even though the Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House. Why didn't you hear about it? Because it was only tiny pieces. Congress has not been able to pass all 12 of those bills since, I think, 1990 something.
Right. They haven't passed a real budget.
They're too lazy. The government is too big for them to manage. So they, instead of doing 12, they do 1. And then they give it to the president and say, here it is. Sometimes we call it an omnibus. Sometimes it goes a minibus. Sometimes it's a CR omnibus. It's one giant bill at the end of the year. And now the president has a binary choice. He says, well, geez, I don't like this, and this, but it's all contained in this one thing. And if I want to fund the military, I have to sign that bill, or else the entire government shuts down. That's it. It's on or it's off. There's no more of this proper management of spending because of the fact that the Congress is broken. And that's why you hear this annual discussion about will the government shut down, and you don't remember hearing that for a long time because when Congress functioned, it wasn't relevant. Now it is, and that's why we have a choice. It's all or nothing.
Sounds like we need a line item veto for the president.
Well, that is-
right? I mean,
that's-
that would
yeah.
be a great thing.